Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be going through my entire Blu-ray collection. Now, I put 3D Blu-ray in the title, but there are a few 2D Blu-ray movies. Not that many, probably like 2% of my collection is that. But we're going to get through it. We have a lot of Blu-rays to get through, and plenty of time to do it actually. I don't got to work today. But let's get started. I think I have well over 100 Blu-rays. So right off the top of the list, we got a 2D movie, 10 Cloverfield Lane. I remember seeing this in IMAX when it came out, and I was so enthralled by the movie that I had to get this on Blu-ray. I'm glad that a lot of people were tricked into seeing this, because this movie has nothing to do with Cloverfield Lane, but it is a very smart movie, very intense, very thrilling, and it's pretty amazing considering it all takes place in one place. Very well done. If you have a nice sound system, this is going to be really good. I remember it in IMAX. There's something that happens towards the beginning that it scared the hell out of me when I first saw it, and I brought my friend to see it, and I was like, dude, you got to see this movie. It's really good. And he jumped out of his seat when it happened. And if you've seen this movie, you probably know what I'm talking about. I don't want to give it away, though. There's could be potential a lot of spoilers for these movies. I'm going to start stacking these up over here. Oh, these are in alphabetical order. Way back in the day, I used to separate my movies between animated and live action and have them alphabetically like that. Like alphabetically animated, alphabetically live action, and then eventually I just put them both together. Now this is a movie I picked up really cheap. Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter in 3D. This is a movie that I didn't really have much interest in before I saw it, and I believe I picked this up at 7-Eleven for real cheap. There's 7-Eleven right across the road that I can get some really cheap 3D movies from occasionally, and a few of these came from here. I think at least 3. It looks like this also has D-Box motion code tech with it too. That's pretty nice. This is a fantastic movie. Don't be put off by like the strange premise. This is really wonderful. This is a fantastic 3D movie. And I highly recommend this if you can get your hands on it in any way that you can, but the 3D is the superb one. And the thing that kind of sucks about 3D is that once you get into it, once the 3D bug has bit you, it's kind of hard to go back and watch movies in 2D, because the whole time you're watching it and you're just like, man, I really wish this was in 3D, this would be so cool. I was thinking about that with the Sonic the Hedgehog movie that came out recently. That movie would have been phenomenal in 3D. Maybe the sequel will be. Who knows? I think that'd be really nice. We got The Adventures of Tintin Limited 3D Edition. I like how they put limited 3D edition on some of these, and it's not really limited at all. Like Avatar, that is a 3D Blu-ray. I live in the States, so 3D Blu-rays are getting pushed out the door for 4K, and you can still find Avatar in 3D, and it says limited 3D edition. Like, come on, dude! It's been on the shelf since 2009. But this is a pretty fantastic movie. This comes from Robert Zemeckis' motion capture animation studio. This is one of the best movies they produced, along with one other that I have on my list, which was actually the first 3D Blu-ray I ever owned. I got it before I even had my first 3D TV. But yeah, this is a good movie. 3D is pretty okay. It's not, just personally, it just wasn't super exciting or as exciting as it could have been. But this is still a very exciting adventure action film. And if you're a fan of the old Spielbergian Indiana Jones films, you're going to be a huge fan of this. And I'm waiting with bated breath for the sequel that they kept talking about. Alice in Wonderland in 3D. This is one of the... this came out in 2010. 3D only, not for individual sale. It's funny, it says at the bottom. Now, the 3D in this movie is... it's really not that great. For me personally, especially in the beginning. Now, I understand that they want to use it as like a storytelling device. So, in the beginning, the 3D isn't very well done. The cameras are picking up Johnny Depp's face as like a face. And the best 3D in this movie for me personally is when Alice falls into the rabbit hole. It's super deep. Lots of depth and volume to all the objects falling around her. And the 3D does get a little bit better compared to the beginning of the movie after that, once she's in Wonderland. But this isn't super impressive in 3D, and you're not going to be really missing much if you don't see it in 3D. Now this is an interesting get. I still haven't taken the sticker off. A lot of these Blu-rays I got used, but this is a 4K movie. My roommates have a 4K TV, I have a 3D TV, but this is the only way I could have gotten the 3D Blu-ray, so this is how I picked it up. I actually ordered 2 more 3D Blu-rays today. One of them was Passengers, which, if you don't know, you have to get the 4K to get the 3D, but it was really cheap. And this is one of the better video game movie adaptations, and it's actually a pretty genuinely good movie. I remember when they announced an Angry Birds movie, I really rolled my eyes, and I'm like, come on, man, really? But this is legitimately pretty enjoyable. If not, it has a few scenes of padding that really don't progress the plot, but other than that, it's really well done. The 3D is really exciting and fun, and I would recommend this in 3D. Don't know about the 4K quality, but you know. Arthur Christmas. This is one of my all-time favorite Christmas movies, and it doesn't matter if you get it in 3D or 2D, you gotta see this movie. It is fantastic. I have been a fan of there's a lot of Christmas movies I'm a fan of, but I saw this movie and it just blew me away. You could watch this any time of the year. It is that good. The 3D in it's not super amazing or exciting. There's some fun stuff, but you won't be missing much if you see this in 2D. But you will be missing a lot if you don't see it at all. Really, 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 really recommend you get this movie. And it's an Aardman flick too. And Aardman, I don't think they've ever really made a bad movie. Here we come to the what a lot of people say is one of the best 3D movies ever made, Avatar. This movie is, I appreciate it for it kicking off the 3D craze and all the 3D movies we got after that, and James Cameron stepping up to the plate to show everyone how it's done. He was like, hey guys, you don't really know what you're doing. Even though there were other fantastic 3D movies at the time, this is the one that really opened people's eyes and showed them the power of what 3D can do. This was an IMAX 3D release, but the movie itself is not super interesting visually. On a technological scale, this movie is top marks. The CG in this movie still holds up. There is CG in this movie. This movie came out in 2009. There is CG in this movie that still looks better than CG we have in movies coming out today. There's some stuff that doesn't look too good, but the effects on the Na'vi and the world itself are phenomenal. They are still nearly unmatched. And the 3D, pretty good, but there are other 3D movies that I would probably recommend over Avatar. Oh, and this is another limited 3D edition that you can find literally everywhere, even if you're in the States. Now, this is one that I wanted for a very long time. And this is I think this would be one of the more expensive ones that I picked up. It is pretty rare. Beauty and the Beast Diamond Edition in 3D. This is one of my favorite Disney films of all time, and the fact that they post-converted this, and The Little Mermaid, and Tarzan got a post-conversion, and The Lion King is phenomenal. The 3D in this is really cool. This was back when they were first learning to do post-conversions. The 3D can look a little bit weird on the actual characters themselves sometimes, but the backgrounds and everything are spot on. It is really cool to see 2D animation turn into 3D, and it's just a really wild effect. This one, I do recommend getting this in 3D. This, I would say, is probably the best way to see this movie. So this is the first Leica film on my list. I actually did order Kubo and the Two Strings today, but the Boxtrolls, I saw this in theaters in 3D and wasn't super impressed. I got the home release because I really did like the movie and I like Leica's stuff, but the 3D in this one isn't super impressive. There's some fun things like the first time you go into the troll cave, but outside of that, the 3D isn't super amazing, which is a shame because There's two other movies that I'll get to that have fantastic 3D and they were like really on board with it, but this movie just kind of is flat outside of a few shots that are really interesting, but it's you won't be missing much if you don't pick this up in 3D. I got it in 3D because I didn't have it and might as well just pick it up anyway in 3D. But this is a good movie that you should definitely watch. All of like this stuff is really good. It's really weird, but it's good stuff.